It's another beautiful day for a real world mile per gallon test, and this time we are testing the Mazda CX-70. Yes, this was introduced a few months ago. Now we have it here on the channel. We're going to run it through the real world test and see what kind of numbers that we can come up with. See how well the EPA and Mazda base this car. So let's take a quick look at it, and then we'll head to the gas station, get filled up, and get this test started. So a lot of people are coining this as a two-row CX-90, and for the most part, it is. Now the front fascia is a little bit different. We've got, black grille. We've got a lot of dark chrome and stuff like that in here. Looks really good. Kind of sets itself aside from the CX-90 to give it a little sportier version of it. But if we go around the side, this is that poly metal. Is the only thing I can remember. It says poly metal, something like that. Anyway, it's a really nice color, really. It does have some sparkle to it, but the gray is pretty nice. Coming around here to the hatch. Now this is where you're going to notice the CX. This is a CX-90 just without the third row. And the reason we say that is because if you look, there are cup holders here in the back, but no seats. So that's how you know they basically just took the seats out of the CX-90 and gave us the CX-70. But look how much space there is. It is massive back here. It's really a good amount of space. Without having those third row back here, that is what you look at with the CX-90. This is huge back here. You do have power dropping second row seats. You have a 12 volt plug-in right there. You have a 120 volt plug right there. And under here, you got a few little tire accessories. Oh, and a strap, which is nice. All right, I think that's about it back here. Let's go check out the front and this awesome leather in here. This is Napa leather, really nice, kind of a terracotta color. We really like the feel of this. This is kind of like a microfiber, suede, Alcantara type stuff. You do have some wood grain across here. And of course, you got your shades. Good amount of space back here. You got your own climate control also, which it looks like you got heated seats in this second row. All right, head up to the front. There you go. There's your door panel, and go across here. And all of this across here is this suede Alcantara type stuff. It's really nice. I feel like it's going to get dirty though. But there is the interior. It is really beautiful. Mazda has really stepped up their game on their interiors. This is getting to be a luxury and borderline luxury brand. I forgot to mention that this is the inline 6 Turbo S. So this does have the mild hybrid system. That's about it. So let's get up to the gas station. Let's get filled up. Then I'll update you on the parameters of the test and give you a little bit more information about this CX-70. Okay, we are here at the gas station, and there are no special requirements for this Mazda engine, although if you use premium, you get better performance. So we're going to put the premium in, and because that's pretty much what they suggest you do if you want the best performance. All right, so we're going to select 91, which is $499 at this time. You got 89 at 424 and 354 487.
Grab a can. It's on.
All right, now we haven't driven this much, just about a day or so, so it shouldn't be too bad. Maybe 4 or 5 gallons at the most.
Whatever it is, more is more.
Okay, there is what we're at, 2.5 gallons, and we are ready to go. I'm really starting to not like these little screens here because they play music or play a video while you're trying to record, and it really messes things up. So I had to jump forward to the end. So 2.5 gallons is where we're at. We are filled up. So we're going to start this test right now. According to the window sticker, this is supposed to average 25 miles per gallon. So 23 city, 28 highway, 25 average. Hopefully we will hit that. I got a feeling that we're going to get past that. Talked about earlier, this is the Mazda CX-70 3.3 Turbo S Premium Plus polymer gray metallic tan Napa leather. And we have a total of 340 horsepower. All right. That's enough information for there. So now we're going to reset these trips. And so up here in the corner is the mile per gallon. We are going to switch that first. We will clear that out. Okay, that is cleared out. And then we're going to get the trip over here for our miles. I'm going to clear that off. All right. We are at 0, 0, and 0 up here. So let's get on the road. If you haven't joined me on one of these drives before, I'm going to update you on the parameters of the test. We run these tests exactly the same every single time. We take the same route every single time. The only exception was the first time we went in the LC500. We didn't have our route planned, our new route, because we moved, so I had to plan another route, which we ended up 91 miles. But the last one we did was 101 miles, so that'll be the route that we take now, and it should be the same in this one. First off, we're going to go to the gas station. We're going to top off the tank, make sure that we are full, and tire pressures at manufacturer spec. We're going to drive 100 miles, and it might be a little, just a tad under, just a tad over, somewhere in that range, but the plan is for 100 miles. 50 miles in one direction, turn around 50 miles in the exact opposite direction, so we negate any wind, terrain, that type of scenario. Temperature right now is 69 degrees, so very good, and it's only supposed to be in the mid to upper 70s today, so it's going to be a great day for this. Wind is very minimal. There's not much at all going on right now. We're going to drive through 2 towns, and through those towns we are going to do a full loop. So we're going to hit stoplights, stop signs, etc. Make it a real city driving scenario. And then we'll be up on the interstate also for 20 miles approximately. City driving is also going to be about 20 miles, and then the remainder will be highway. The speed that we will be going is 5 miles per hour over the speed limit, because that is the average that most people drive. It's some high, some lower, but that is about an average. So that's what we're going to follow. So that'll be 60 on the highway and 75 on the interstate, anywhere between 35 and 50 in the towns that we go through. Whenever we do turn around on the interstate and we come back, we're going to take the exact same route on the way back, just in the reverse order. We'll hit those same 2 towns. We'll do loops through both of those towns on the way back also, but it'll just be in the reverse order. And then we're going to work our way back to the gas station. Now we drive these in normal mode. We don't put them in eco mode. We don't put them in sport mode, anything like that. We're not trying to maximize anything. We're trying to make this as close to real world as possible, which means what it's set in when you start the vehicle and go. What you're going to get in the morning to go to work, or you're going to get in the morning to go take your trip, whatever you're going to be doing, you're just going to get in, you're going to start it up, and you're going to go. That's going to be the normal thing that most people do. So that is how we're going to drive this, to give you a hopefully a more accurate mile per gallon than what you might see others giving. We're getting ready to come into our first town here, and I'm going to update you on that right now. We entered our first town, and so far we are at 26.9 miles per gallon and about 4.4 miles driven. We're going to make a loop through this town, and then I'm going to update you at the end of it as we get back out onto the highway. We're back out on the highway after making that loop through town. So right now we are at 27.2 miles per gallon, and over here 8.8 miles total. So next I'm going to give you some information about the CX-70. Maybe it's something that might be on your radar. If the CX-90 is a little too big, then maybe this one's going to work out for you. The CX-70 is a new model for Mazda for 2025. It follows up the CX-90 from last year, which basically this has been kind of coined as a two-row CX-90, and for the most part it is. As you saw in the back at the beginning of this video, there are cup holders back there for a third row, but there's no third row. So I mean, what else can you say other than they just took the third row out? It does have the same engines available though. This is the 3.3 liter Turbo S with the mild hybrid system. At 25 miles per gallon, that's actually pretty decent for this size of an SUV. There are a lot out there that don't get that amount of gas mileage, so it's actually pretty impressive. The overall size of this is about the same size as the Toyota Grand Highlander. You know, and the Grand Highlander is a third row also. So this basically is in a third row segment, but without a third row. The benefit that you get with a Mazda is the driving component. The driving with this is amazing. A Mazda always does a great job with the dynamics, with cornering and the way it feels and the way the steering is and everything. They just make a driver's car, or a driver's SUV in this case. With this engine, you're also getting 340 horsepower. Now there is a smaller engine and it doesn't get as much horsepower, somewhere around 280 to 290, somewhere in that range I think. But with this mild hybrid system, which basically it puts an electric drive motor between the engine and the transmission, so that way you get a little more instant torque off the line before the turbo kicks in. That's basically all it's there for. And battery wise, with a hybrid system, it basically just runs your start stop functions more or less. It will start up and it can idle for a short period of time in hybrid, but it does not drive in hybrid at any time. The Turbo S Premium Plus, this one is $57,775. So right there, you're under $60,000. I hope that gave you guys enough information. You can see how nice this interior is. So I hope maybe this is something that you guys will be interested in. Let's see if we can get that 25 miles per gallon. I think we're actually going to probably do a little bit better than that. We've entered our second town now, coming off of the highway. We are currently at 31.9 miles per gallon and 29.5 miles driven. Wow. We are way above that 25 mile per gallon average so far, but we are going to make a loop through this town and then I'll update you again before we get up on the interstate. Okay, we're heading up to the interstate, so we made that loop through town, and right now we're at 30.1 and we've driven 36.3 miles. So this is where we're going to get on the interstate, and once we get up to the top here, we'll accelerate and you guys can hear the sound of the engine and the exhaust and see what you guys think about that. All right, when we straighten out here, we will give it some gas and let you hear the engine. Ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. Sounds really healthy, really good. All right, we are locked in at 75. So right now, 29.9 miles per gallon, 37.1 miles driven. Now once we get up here and get ready to turn back around to head back, I will update you guys. We're coming up on our turnaround spot for the interstate. So where we are at is 29.6 miles per gallon. We've driven 49.7 miles, and we're going to turn around up here and head back. So we are right at our halfway point. It actually is turning out really well. Okay, so now we can turn and head straight back down onto the interstate. And we will keep this test moving. Okay, I'll accelerate down here at the bottom just like we did when we got on the interstate earlier. We do have a little bit more traffic, so I am going to have to really accelerate up to speed. So here we go. Truck did not help matters. All right, we are up to speed now, and we are looking at 29.5 miles per gallon at the moment and 51.7 miles driven. Okay, I will update you guys again as we get off of the interstate and head back into town to make our loop through there. All right, this is our exit off the interstate. Right now, we are at 30 miles per gallon and 64.3 miles driven. So we are now going to make the loop through this town, and I will update you guys again after we get through that and back out onto the highway. We just got out of town and onto the highway. So right now we are at 29.5 miles per gallon, 72.6 miles driven. So we are still above that 25 miles per gallon. We entered our last town here. We're going to make a loop through this town and then head back to the gas station. Right now we are at 30.6 miles per gallon and 93.6 miles driven. So yeah, we're going to be well above that 25 miles per gallon. We'll just have to see when we get to the gas station, do the calculations, whether it's accurate or not. All right, I'll update you as we leave town and head back to the gas station. Made our loop through town. We are back on the highway and we are headed to the gas station now. So right at this moment, we are at 30.5 miles per gallon, which I believe is above the highway rating. Also at 97.4 miles driven. So this is turning out to be a incredible mile per gallon for this vehicle. We'll see if this is accurate or not, but it's probably not too far off. So we'll get back to the gas station, get filled up, and we'll get the calculator out, and we'll see what the actual real numbers and real world mile per gallon is. Okay, we are back at the gas station. So we're going to get in here. We're going to get the same pump we used earlier, get filled up, and then we will run the numbers and see how accurate everything is or isn't. So final numbers, we are looking at 30.6 and 101 total miles. So that worked out really well. All right, let's get it filled up and see if they're right. All right, we are back and we're gonna get filled up right now. All right, let's see how this goes. It's gonna take us quite a bit, and I'm gonna have to fast forward before the music starts here. All right, 3.2. Okay, what we got is 3.294 gallons. That's what we're going to be dividing by. So let's get in and let's get this figured out and see who's right, who's wrong, and how far they're wrong. So we've ran this test on the CX-70. Now let's see how accurate Mazda's algorithm or Mazda's calculations are in the CX-70. So the first thing we've got to do is we had 101 total miles. That's what we've got. And let's see here. 101 miles divided by our total gallons. So it was 3.29 gallons. So divided by 3.29 gallons equals, wow, 30.6. You can see that 30.6 is what we've got. What did the car say when we stopped? 30.6. Wow. Way to go, Mazda. You were dead on, dead accurate on this car. So that is one thing you don't have to worry about. It is going to tell you the accurate number. So that is usually odd. Usually we're off by a half a mile a gallon up to 2 miles per gallon. Mazda, dead on. Another thing is, this was rated at 25 miles per gallon and we're 5 miles per gallon over it. Huge advantage here. So if this is something you are considering, now you know you're going to get a lot better than what the EPA says you're going to. Way to go, Mazda. That is awesome. So 2025 Mazda CX-70 100-mile real world mile per gallon test, you're going to get 30.6 miles per gallon. Thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and then click on one of the videos that's up on the screen right now. One of them I chose. I think you're going to like it because it's a review of the CX-70. The other one is something that YouTube thinks you might like. So click on one of them and I'll see you in that next video.